Sean Connery's name is forever tied to James Bond. He was the first, the original, and too many fans. The best 007. But what if I told you that despite worldwide fame, critical acclaim, and a paycheck that grew with each installment, Connery grew to hate the role that made him a legend? The real reason Sean Connery never wanted to be James Bond again is far more complicated and shocking than anyone realized. When Sean Connery first slipped into the tuxedo and ordered his martini shaken, not stirred, audiences were mesmerized. Dr. No in 1962 catapulted him into stardom almost overnight, with his suave demeanor, rugged charm, and undeniable screen presence. Connery became the living embodiment of Ian Fleming's super spy. Films like From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and Thunderball not only turned Bond into a global phenomenon, but also made Connery one of the most recognizable actors on the planet. But behind the cool exterior and smooth one-liners, Connery was struggling with the role that defined him. One of Connery's biggest frustrations was typecasting. Despite his talent and ambition to take on diverse characters, Hollywood couldn't see past James Bond. Scripts piled in, but nearly all of them were variations of the same character, the suave, tough, womanizing hero. For an actor who craved depth and artistry, this became suffocating. Connery once admitted in interviews that he felt trapped by Bond, a prisoner to his own success. The very role that opened doors also locked him in. Another reason for his disillusionment was the treatment he received from the producers. Despite being the face of one of the most profitable franchises in film history, Connery often felt undervalued and underpaid compared to the massive profits his movies generated. By the time of You Only Live Twice in 1967, Connery was earning significant money, but nowhere near the fortune the studio was raking in. Tensions with producers Harry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli grew so heated that Connery stopped speaking with them altogether. At one point, Connery even refused to do promotional work for the films because he felt exploited. Then came the relentless public scrutiny. As James Bond fever swept the globe, Connery's private life all but disappeared. Paparazzi hounded him wherever he went, sometimes even into the bathroom. In Japan, during the filming of You Only Live Twice, Connery famously walked off set after reporters invaded his personal space to an intolerable degree. To him, the fame had become toxic, a price he no longer wanted to pay. By the late 1960s, Connery had had enough. He announced he was stepping away from Bond for good after You Only Live Twice. Yet Hollywood wasn't ready to let him go. After George Lazenby's brief and troubled stint as Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, producers begged Connery to return for Diamonds Are Forever. They lured him back with an unprecedented paycheck, the highest salary any actor had ever received at the time. Connery accepted, but only with the understanding that this would be his last Bond film. To him, the role was no longer about passion, but obligation and leverage. Even then, Connery's relationship with Bond wasn't truly over. He returned one more time in 1983 for Never Say Never Again, a rival production outside the official Bond canon. While fans were thrilled to see him back, Connery himself admitted he was done with the character once and for all. He had grown weary of the tuxedos, the gadgets, and the endless comparisons. He wanted to prove himself beyond Bond, and in later years, he did just that with acclaimed roles in The Untouchables, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and The Hunt for Red October. In the end, Sean Connery's refusal to continue as James Bond was about more than money or fame, was about freedom. He wanted to reclaim his identity as an actor, to be recognized for more than just a single role. And though Bond made him a legend, Connery never allowed it to define the rest of his career. Ironically, by walking away, he ensured his place as the definitive Bond, the one every successor would forever be compared to.